Fellow nurse entrepreneurs, one of the things that I've always wanted to do was I always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Good morning, everybody. So I'm super excited because I got one of my friends here today. Okay, her name is Aneesha. All right, her name is Aneesha Smith, like sheetabomb.com. If you ever have any children, and where you at?
I'm in the Houston area.
In the Houston area, okay. You have she the girl, because listen, she was telling me some stuff the other day, and I love OB nursing, right? Because y'all, I was an ER nurse. We don't be delivering the children, okay?
We know.
We're rushing them over to you, right? So first of all, I just ask everybody to like, share, and comment, and then I want Aneesha to introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. V. My name is Aneesha Smith. I am a RN. I'm an OBRN, labor and delivery nurse. I've been in nursing now. October 2001 was when I received my license. So we are actually in the month of my anniversary. I'm entering my 25th year of nursing this month. And I've worked with all types of nursing. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a product brand that I started in 2016, Reflections by Zaina. We grew that to over $1 million, almost $2 million in about 3 years' time. We're on Amazon, Etsy, all the things. I've learned a ton about nurse entrepreneurship. And most recently, I've kind of brought what I've learned back home base, I would say back home to women. I would say women who serve women in the fields of maternal health, perinatal, just that perinatal period of life, all of it from preconception to perimenopause. I want to work with you, and I want to bring the tech, and I want to bring all the things that I've learned in growing my businesses and running them back to where you can do the same in your business. So the Connected Practice with a K is what we are launching this year. And that is to directly help women get connected, use a little bit of this tech, use a little bit of these systems and automations and coaching to bring them closer to their people, but less time. Set you up, you closer to your folks, but you spend less time on that. So
I love it. So now tell me, this is the deal. What made you want to become a L&D? Did you want to become an L&D nurse? Like when you became a nurse, did you want to do L&D?
So actually, no.
Okay.
I wanted to do pediatric nursing because I wanted to be a pediatrician. Before I got pregnant with my son at 17, I was actually on my way to medical school. I was going to do pre-med, biology major, and I was going to go to medical school. That was the plan. So then enter in backup plan. I got pregnant in high school. So my first, and this was, when I think about this, is so funny full circle because I had not considered labor nursing. I had not considered it. But my experience with midwives during my pregnancy, I delivered at the Cleveland Clinic. And so, that's a very popular hospital. And they were piloting a midwifery program. And so I was assigned to midwives that they were piloting, and I was able to shadow my midwife in my senior year of high school for my senior project. So I was pregnant and I got to see my first birth as a pregnant teenager. And that actually solidified it for me. Still didn't realize it, but it planted a seed for me. Seeing that, and I just remember her telling me, "Don't touch that table; it's sterile." That's probably. I remember going into the birth and just standing off to the side and just being really pregnant, very unsure about my own future. You know what I mean? Like I was pregnant in the 90s. There's a lot of transition, a lot of shame that went with being a teenage mother, and you would automatically assume that you were just going to go and work and get on this in the system and just try to figure it out. And so, you're fighting all of these things. And I knew though that I was going to go to college. Like there was no deviation. It was just kind of like the how. And my guidance counselor suggested nursing school. She said, "Now I know, medicine is probably not going to be like, you're not going to be able to do it, obviously, as a new mom, but nursing, you should consider that." And so I took her up on her advice and I went to a college fair, found my school. Well, they found me. I'm pregnant, embarrassed. Okay. Like you walk up to a table and it's like, "Yeah, I want information on your nursing programs." It's like one of the top programs in the country. And they accepted me on scholarship. And I was able to have my son in February of 97, enter college in August of 97, and graduate. I commuted. I caught the bus. I did all the things. I went to clinicals. I had 3 jobs, 2 of them on the campus, 1 of them in the hospital. I did everything out. I did everything. And my rotations in nursing school solidified it. When I hit that OB peds rotation, because they were literally in the same year, same semester, opposite, I did one, I did the other. And it just to experience them both and say, yeah. So I wanted to do peds, ended up in OB. And my rotation in college solidified that.
I love that because there's something that you said, there's a gem that you dropped that most people will miss, is that you said, "I knew I was going to college."
Mm-hmm.
And that same type of mentality is the mentality that you have to have in entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to know that it's going to work. It's going to work or it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
And if you have that mentality, then it literally changes the trajectory of everything, right?
Yeah.
And like you might have some, mindset shifts when it comes to what people call failure, because failure is never failure until you stop.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so, but the failures teach you well more than the successes do. The successes are cool. Don't get me wrong. Right. I mean, they're good. Right.
It's great when it's great. But like you say, what you pick up off the floor,
what
you don't forget the mess that you pick up off the floor. You're not going to forget having to tell my mom, or actually having her find out I was pregnant. And then,
I ain't even gonna ask.
That's another podcast episode. And then having to tell my then boyfriend that I was pregnant, because we hadn't even met. I got pregnant before we met, and so I had to tell him. And my
Wait
dad,
a minute, you said you got pregnant?
I got pregnant in May of 96. I met my husband, my boyfriend, in July. I was pregnant in May because I only had sex one time. Got pregnant, did not know because I didn't have a period. I had periods for like 3 months. So it was weird. Confused. It was like, girl, you talk about picking your face up off the floor in 96. That's all I did. That's all I did in 1996. Between that relationship, my little teenage self, meeting my husband, meeting him, finding out I was pregnant, having my mom find out, having to tell my Catholic school, I went to Catholic all-girls school, having to tell them, having to tell him, having to have my siblings be like shocked because I was like honor roll student, star athlete. Nobody was expecting this from me. Having to have my family. Oh my God. 96 was a year of falling face on the floor. It was a year of face on the floor.
I was confused because you said I didn't meet my boyfriend until after I was pregnant. I was wait a minute now.
This is baby daddy.
I was confused. I was like, no, that's not how it works. And I know you know how it works.
Yes, the math ain't mathing. That's the math. I was pregnant in May, met my husband in July, found out I was pregnant in October.
Oh, wow.
Because I was very small, athletic. I was actually trying out for the basketball team and made the basketball team pregnant. That's how small I was.
Wow.
And then had to rescind, of course, everything. Yeah.
Well, what did Q say when?
So I'll tell you the quick story. My mom, so we had this whole
Not,
Cosby meeting,
by the
right?
way, Q is her husband. Okay,
Yes,
so
he
go
was my
ahead.
husband, and he was the boyfriend that I met in July, but before I found out I was pregnant. He's that guy, and he was in college in Florida, and so we were already doing long distance. Like we were writing each other every day. We had letters, we had the phone conversations on a calling card, like very 90s, right? Pager messages and voicemails. Like we were in love. Okay, like in 2 weeks. And so my mom's like, I need to talk to him. After this is like a big deal. Like I need to talk to him first. So she talks to him, and she's like, I just want to thank you for being such a gentleman to my daughter, and you're such a sweet man, great upbringing, blah 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 blah. And she didn't tell me what she's saying, but she's on the phone with him, and then she's like, okay, here. So she gives me the phone, and I'm like, okay. And I say, hello. He said, hello. He's like, are you dying? So I said, Mom, you didn't tell him? She said, no, that's for you. That's your message. I said, well, what did you want the phone for? So I had to tell him I was pregnant. I told him I was pregnant. Obviously, it was before we met. And, we were in college. I was in high school. I was a senior in high school. He's in college. I told him he did not have to make a decision, and I would understand if he did not want to continue to be with me, because I'm 17, he's 19. And we have our whole lives in front of us. And now I'm introducing a baby that's not even his baby into the picture. And I said, I will understand if you don't want to if you want to back off, if you want to take some time to think about it. He was like, no, I made my decision. I'm like, you don't even want me to call you tomorrow? Like, he said, no. He said, no. He said, I love you, and I'm going to love your son. That was his answer. That was his answer. I'll never forget it. And that was 29 years ago.
I love it. And one of the things that, first of all, you have to understand that in entrepreneurship, again, that's another gem, decisiveness.
Yes.
Right? Decide now and move along with it. Yes. Don't be belaboring over it.
Yes.
Right?
Because I'm a belaborer. If it's one thing, I'm still learning this lesson in entrepreneurship, quick, decisive action, especially if it's aligned with what you want to do. If you say that this is what you want to do and the opportunity presents itself, then you need to jump on board, because that's just God telling you that you're on the right path. Like, what are we thinking about right now? What do we need to think about? I feel like you're 100% right. He decided he wanted to be with me, and that was it. So whatever that came with, it came with. And so it came with the baby in this case. But he's now 28. He's now 28, and that is his dad.
Like, I'm gonna have to give him a pat on the back next time.
Yes, a lot of people hear the story and they're like, cute, man. Yeah, that's our story.
Okay, so now, as someone who's been a nurse since 2001, okay, what entrepreneurial lessons did nursing teach you? Like the most important entrepreneurial lesson that nursing teach you that business school never could?
I could say, and B school is learned in the field. I'm gonna tell you that, and that's the first thing. The second thing I'll say is, for me personally, and what was aligned is the way I moved in my life, I was big on experiences. So the experience of experiencing somebody. So, nursing taught us to treat people well. Like, be honest, say your word. Don't open your mouth if you're going to have some mess come out of it. Like, know your stuff. Like, that was one of the things that it taught me. The second thing it taught me was, the measuring. So considering the whole experience or the whole person, something that you really could not get in business school or in the business world. And it's one of the things that I treasured, even in my product brand, was, how does what I do make you feel? And when I leave the room, will you remember something I said or did? And I took that with me into a product brand where my packaging made sense, and the words and my logo and everything I thought about, every email I typed, every platform I jumped on, in my mind, it was laying out the groundwork for an experience. And so I found myself wrapping myself up in experience-based things. And so nursing taught me how to measure and how to take that seriously. Don't discount how you're treating people just because they're buying something from you one time ever. don't discount that experience. That experience should be top level from the time that they reach the website, the time that they check out, what they get from you after, and how you follow up. That is how we nurse typically, or how we supposed to. You count the entire experience, even the parts of it that you don't feel are important. And measuring that, nursing taught me that, like how to treat people in my business, because we took it so serious.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that is very, very important. Now, when we were talking the other day, you told me that you personally painted 13,000 pieces. Like, what was going through your mind during this physical grind?
It started out as a hobby, obviously, because again, my story, entrepreneur, since before I became licensed, I was trying to just get into stuff, and my hands and products was always what I ended up into. And so this was the business that stuck. I guess this is one of those things you call something a divine, like some people have just gifts and things that they can see, and I can see gaps. I can see and evaluate and say, okay, this is necessary, this is needed. And it's not being done, or it's not being done in a way that maybe is impactful. And so really I started as a way to say, been in nursing for all these years, all these little different trinkets around, and none of them really look like me. None of them are nobody is intentional about representation. And I took the intentionality of that and started with wood, 3 inches. She little Afro silhouette. I found a manufacturer to make the size I needed, shipped thousands to my house. I would ship them in like 500 or 1,000 at a time. And I would go to Hobby Lobby, buy my paint. I had all these paintbrushes. The more you learn. So I started with one brush. Then I learned I needed to get different brushes to make the effects I wanted. So then I had to go buy more brushes. This is like entrepreneurship lesson 101. You just keep trying. And the longer you're into something, the more you learn, and the more you need more tools to do specific things in your business. So like for me, I started out with one brush, turned into 2 brushes, turned into a brush pack. And I was like, oh, okay, now I need fine tuning. Now I need to blend. So the more I wanted to do for people through my painting, through those brushes, I had to like learn the skill and get the tool. And that is literally entrepreneurship 101. So I ended up with 2 big old buckets of brushes, paint. This type of paint did this, this paint in white was better. This, so you just kept going. And then when I ran out of ways so it came to a point where I couldn't even find the letters to put in the hair. Like I was running all over Hobby Lobby, all over Houston. We would go to 3. He would take 2. My husband was like, I'm gonna go to these 2 over here. And then we would just go buy up letters, because we only needed 2 or 3 letters out of the alphabet. But we would buy them up, like just empty the cart. So I said, this is not going to work. Like, this isn't going to work. We cannot just keep buying these 2 and 3 sheets. We need to buy I need to get special letters on a sheet that I use. So then that became the next lesson. I started looking for manufacturing to make my stickers, and I had to go find sticker manufacturers. So then I ended up producing all of the letters and all of the colors that I was needing in just like 6 or 7 letters. And that's what I had printed in mass. So then my process became clumsy. It started very clumsy. It started very, you're just searching. You're trying to figure it out, put it together so you can produce this product. And then as I got better, I started identifying gaps. Okay, this is not going to work. We're going to need letters. Okay, this is not going to work. We're going to need, better paint. I'm going to need to change my process. I want to introduce this to the market. I'm going to need to do that. So by the time you do all of that, 13,000 badges later, you've made all this money, high profit margin, because it was my work, but I was starting to develop carpal tunnel. Mm-hmm. So I literally, with my left hand, had to pull back. And so then that's when we had to learn to expand. He was like, we have to figure out how to do this different. Like, you're going to have to develop a different way to sell a badge. And so I had to retire my wood. And that's when we got into we got into PVC or plastics. We got into enamel, things that I could still design, but just made in bulk so that we could just sell them and produce them faster. So that was a whole lesson that I learned.
I love there's 2, because I love the gems that you're dropping, because you're dropping gems. Okay. So the first gem that you drop is that, because, in today's society, there's a lack of, or there's a pullback of representation. Right. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that you are in the mission of the representation game, but also that you are the representation. So, when I look at, and I always talk about Grayson because he's the one that talks to me all the time. So he when he comes over, he was like, Gigi, I have you saved on
All
my
the things.
computer.
Yes.
On my computer screen at school because I grabbed a video and I took a screenshot. And you have to, I feel like we as leaders, we have to be the representation that we're not seeing in society or that they're trying to erase.
Correct.
That's number one. The
Correct.
second thing is that you stayed through the messy middle, right?
Yeah.
Some people would get carpal tunnel and they be like, well, I got carpal tunnel. I can't do it no more. Yeah. Lady, come on now. Figure it out, right? Yes. You work through it and you make it happen. So I love those two gems are amazing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to commercial break. Okay. And then after we go to commercial break, then we're going to come back and we're going to finish asking questions. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Stop renewing your license just to stay broke. Every renewal season, nurses pay fees, take classes, and check boxes, but never build wealth. That license you're renewing every 2 years, it's a gold mine if you stop using it the old way. At the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference, you'll learn how to leverage that same license to build your own business, to coach, to consult, and to create offers that bring freedom, not fatigue. And yes, you'll still earn CEUs. Comment conference below and we'll send you the details. So yes, I want y'all to join us for the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Now, what specific boundaries, because you've been married for 20 years and I love it because you just celebrated 20 years.
Yes. So
what specific boundaries did you and your husband have to create to prevent your business partnership from being damaged?
How much time do we have? No. I would say from a boundary standpoint, first, you need to know your own personal boundaries, your own triggers. And a lot of times you can't know that if you're not doing whatever it is you're doing with them. So because we were running business, because we were growing fast, he had ideas about things, I had ideas about things. We had to kind of like fall back and say, okay, what are we good at in business? What are we, and in a way that we could take on these roles, if you will, slide into a role. And that itself is the boundary. If that means setting hours that we didn't talk about the business, when it was off hours, if that meant that I was going to be in charge of this aspect, design and reaching out to manufacturing, and he was going to be the one that talked to customers, and he was going to be the one that did the customer service aspect or kept up with stock. We had to know when to step back and know your goals beforehand versus developing them during. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge, especially if you're already older, if you had a business. And in our case, he just jumped in to help me. He saw me drowning and he just like jumped in. So there was a lot of mess there at the beginning because it was like, you just helping me. Like, I didn't ask for this, I got this. And then it became a place where it was like, okay, so I need you and I need this skill set, and we have to make this work. And so to have another brain that you just happen to be married to, that does not think like you, that can show you things in a different way, that can bring another skill set is amazing. But in the context of business and thriving business, it all needs context. So knowing the goals beforehand, if you can. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but once we figured it out and we figured out how frustrating we were with each other because we were like operating outside of our own like personal space and talent, like we had to redirect. And sometimes it takes coaching. Like we had to like get help. Like, please, like help us, guide us so that we can like deal with each other better in this and, not blow the business up, being petty or being frustrated or rage, what the kids call it, rage quits, where they just, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. That was really, it was a lesson, and it was not a lesson of 1 or 2 nights. Like it's a progressive, because you're with them. This is your partner in life. And so you may come to the realization that you just will not do business, or you will not conduct business with your partner. That's also knowing your goals and knowing your constraints and knowing, you know, when to say when, versus I really want it to work. I really want us to work. And none of the things that it's just not going to work. It's just not. And every couple is not a couple that can do it together. And so that's something else that you may have to come to grips with, is that you're not meant to be in business with your spouse or your partner.
I love it. We're my husband and I, we have a real estate business, and one of the things that we had to really, I think that we already had a common goal of what kind of what we wanted to do. And so that was not like, we didn't have, and I think that that's very valuable information, because what happens is if you don't know where you're going, right, then what are we doing? Right. So like, how are we working this for whatever reason? Like what's going on? And so we had a common goal of having five doors for each of our 5 children. Right.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah. And so because we had the common goal, it was, okay, we've got to work this way in order to make it happen. But I think that the thing that really, because you said, you know, forming those boundaries and knowing where your sweet spot is and knowing who does what best, and also understanding each person, understanding each piece of the business is key.
Yes.
But also knowing that I love you more than I love this business.
That's correct.
Period.
And in it, and seeing the growth, and, you know, a good employee, which essentially is how I saw him when he came in to help me, does not equal a good entrepreneur. So we both had to go to school on that. Chew on that, because your hobby now is a business that's thriving. It's got legs. You need to grow up. He's coming in to help you and help you blind, because again, this is something that's growing. You're growing into it. It's new. Know your strengths. Work on your weaknesses. This is like standard, I would say standard relationship boundary for whatever, whether it be real estate, whether it be online business or consulting, whatever you're doing with your spouse, allow them to be strong where you are weak. Allow you to be weak. Be weak. Be happily weak, because they got your back. And it goes the same for them. You know, you're not going to know it all. You can't do it all. You can't think of it all. That's just not what the extra brains are for. The best run companies have strengths in several places that are headed up by different people, or you have consultants in different areas that help you see your blind spots. Having somebody in business that lives with you to me is great, because you working on somebody who's always thinking not like you. They're not going to think like you. They're not you. And so you all can put yourself head together. If you, like you say, if you got the goal, and the goal is a mutual goal, then that removes a lot of that messy middle, that gray, and it allows you to just go to work.
I love it. I love it. Now, looking back at your entrepreneur journey, what failures are you most grateful for now?
Well, I'm going to say one of the failures, I don't even call it a failure, but our business slowing down, our product brand slowing down enough for me to jump into service, because I serve as a nurse, and I felt like I didn't really want to do it. Like, I just wanted to be creative in my product lane. But I think the blessing and the failure, if you will, of us having to pull back, and we had less income, and we had less product, like everything just like slowed way down, was the ability for me to find another hole in the market and develop my own way and develop another set of skills. Sometimes I like to control things, and creativity can take over, and you get over creative. You do things too much, or I get stuck what I call in build mode. Like, I just love the creative process to the point where I don't never get to selling it or around of promoting it. Like, I'm just stuck there. And so he kind of helps pull me out of that and say, okay, you got enough done. Let's just go to work with what you got. And so, like, the failure in that product brand allowed me to launch services faster and not get stuck over creating things.
I love it. I love it. Now, as someone who is trying to go into entrepreneurship now, what is the best piece of advice you would give them?
Take a self-assessment. Take a I don't care which one it is. I like DISC. I found we actually took DISC and found a lot about ourselves, and like a lot of our lives made sense after we took it. But self-assess, find out how you learn, find out how you need to be talked to, how you talk to people, depending on what it is, whether it's like services or products, self-assess first, because I think that's gonna a lot of barriers to peopling, if you will, and like working with contractors and reaching out and even talking to your audience, what to say in your emails and stuff is going to become very clear, especially if you have AI to help you. If you know who you are, if you can self-assess and develop like your voice and tone early on, what you're selling, like all that stuff, do that first. It's boring, it's not sexy, but it is very valuable down the line for consistency, and it helps you not have to turn so many corners trying to like figure yourself out. Like figure it out first. Do that first.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Because from what, like I can see you are high I. Like you a D and you a high I. Like all those. Are you a D and I?
What am I? I'm like what is my disc? I think
you gotta be an I because you're creative.
I know I'm an I. Yeah. What is my I gotta look, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I gotta look it up though.
You tell me what it is on another day. Now.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I will say though that doing all the things, trying to do all the things, and trying to be all the things is the quickest way to break yourself.
Oh, listen, one thing. The book, the one thing. I cannot tell you how many times I've said this. You cannot do everything for everybody.
It's no longer glamorous. It's no longer glamorous. We all thought it was, like I'm a super, super, super. Even Superman got kryptonite. Like there is always something, and you just you can't. I feel like if it just takes two people to make a baby, it's gonna at least take two people to like life. Right. Like you need somebody.
Right.
You need somebody.
One of the things that I think that we had, I remember I was in DNP school, right? And I was on this nursing thread, and they were talking about the fact that these people were going back to school to get a master's degree, and they were talking about the fact that they had housekeepers. And I was like, wait a minute.
Excuse me? Right.
A housekeeper? I was like, say less. So my husband, he aggravates the snot out of him, okay? But whenever, because he's former military, so
so he wants his things his way,
right, a certain way. So, but I am like I'm gonna pack my clothes because I need to know what I'm gonna wear when I'm going. But when I get back here, I'm not unpacking not a thing, okay? The housekeeper's gonna do it, right? Because that is not my highest income producing activity, right? And so we have to lean into our highest income producing activity and stop doing these things that does not yield us cash. Period.
Correct. Keep it moving. Get the help.
Exactly.
Keep it moving. Get the help.
Don't be the hero. All right. I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Yes.
So what has been the most rewarding thing about nursing?
Well, in my specialty, it's been all the births, all the lives I get to touch. Like when I think about, of course the babies don't remember it, but I've had people come up to me in supermarkets and recognize me as their labor nurse. And you're talking like a night shift nurse, like somebody who you like half sleep, like you see a couple times. The impact of such a monumentous occasion a lot of times, and even when it's not, even when it's sad, even when it's something, it's still such a pivotal point in the life of a person to be able to like be a part of that. I mean, that's for me. That's and I've never stopped feeling that way. No matter how run down we are sometimes in the industry, I've never stopped enjoying my patients and what we can do for them and how I can educate them.
I love that. And when you're in labor, you ain't sleep. But anyway, what are the common misconceptions about nursing?
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like it depends on the era. But I would say a common misconception is that we like are sitting on a pile of money and that we can always go get jobs and we can always do that. We don't work as hard as the doctors do. We don't know as much as the doctors do. That's another misconception, that we all want to be sexy nurses with short dresses and the traditional hats for Halloween. Misconception.
I love it. I love it.
Nurses eat their young. Now I say misconception, but it happens. It happens, and it happens really in any industry. But I think because it's women led, there's just more attention to the attitudes. And I do feel like most nurses want to help other nurses more than they don't. I'll say, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're not going to walk into the fear of, some older nurse like chewing you out on the daily. I think that's a misconception because I do think a lot of our young nurses come in with that. Like they come in a protective mode because they think, us old heads are just ready to chew their heads off. And that's really not it at all.
I love it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, what are you reading now? What book?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something about Q over here in this corner giving me these looks, but whatever. I'm
actually looking at him. I was in the middle of reading. Or is it Q?
You listen, okay? I'm actually not in the middle of reading a book like regularly because I'm learning in parts and pieces because of the tech piece. So like right now I'm not actively reading anything. I'm reading as I need to learn how to develop this application. So I'm not going to just give you the name of a book just to give you a name because I'm not actively reading anything right now in business.
I love it. So what are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned in business?
Help. The whole like get help. Entrepreneurship does not mean single, almost, like it doesn't mean single. It doesn't mean that you're setting yourself up to do it all yourself forever.
Right.
The price of life, the price of the life you want comes at the cost of the life that you have in the moment. I love it. Yeah, I'll say that's a good nugget there.
That is a great nugget.
You give it to get it, but it doesn't necessarily mean endless grind. And so you can have a lot of fun doing what you're doing. And the goal is to pick something that does. Like, I've leaned into that season, like you don't have to be hard every day, all day. And like, you just not looking forward to doing this, that, and the other in your business. You need to find another way or find somebody that can do the stuff you don't want to do so that you can find the joy in the stuff that's left. Because we're all working towards something. And I think humans are here for that. We're here to help us grow, and we're here to help somebody else, to be of service to somebody else. And so business is just another reflection of that. I feel like you should choose based on who you want to serve versus based on what you're trying to make.
Ooh, now that right there, because you're gonna make the money anyway.
You'll make the money in serving, or you will become abundant. In serving doesn't necessarily have to equal dollars. But we all know how rich relationships can be.
Right. That's exactly
where there's no money exchange, right?
I love it. I love it. Now, who is a leader, living or dead, that you would like to have a conversation with?
Malcolm X.
Especially today.
I would love to pick his brain.
I wish he was out.
And like this season,
Now, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, will I pick a genre? Because I'm like, what's one thing I do is watch a movie over and over and over. What pops in my mind is a favorite movie, like what I'm feeling right now? I would say Boomerang. with Eddie Murphy.
Gotcha.
Like Golden Arrow, and I think of just how you could like affect the whole life of somebody by representation. That movie for me. Oh my gosh, I watched it. VHS. I watched it like every day in the summer. I watched that movie. It just stuck with me. Those pictures, that imagery, those relationships, and
Wow, they don't know nothing about no VHS.
They don't know nothing about it, right? Now what's this? Now what you talking about? Mushrooms? And what are we doing? So much.
I love it. Now, how do you define success?
Oh, good question, because I've learned a lot, especially in these last couple of years about even the word of success. I find that is a evolving definition, and it is based on your own personal goals and your own personal growth goals. So success for me is being able to be abundant in what I want to do. I want time to go away. I want to be able to be in a place that I don't care what time it is. I don't care how much time was spent, because I'm doing exactly what I love. And so there's abundance in doing exactly what you love.
I love it.
The accumulation of superficial stuff, it never matters. And it does matter to some, but it's not power. You know, when you talk about success and you talk about power, and I think the substance of your actions and how it affects those around you is the definition of power. Like power in your ability, success and the ability to affect those around you. And so if you can find joy in that, then I feel like that's a success. You're successful. You can find joy in that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, I just bought a vehicle, and I went in. The guy, we just put the 60-day tags on, and the guy said, he was like, I ain't never met nobody like you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you came in here, you knew what you wanted. And I was like, listen, I was like, what I don't like for you to do is waste my time.
Yeah.
I said, now, you are not going to waste my time. I said, so we need to do it. Because
right
I
now
in places all day long. Anybody got time for that foolishness?
That part.
And I was like, listen. And he was like, he said, you came in here, you knew what you wanted, you came, you got it, and then you were out. I was like, yep, because that's
really not the average car. You're right. And some people try to slow you down so they can trip you up. And that is 100%. It's not, we don't want you to slow down for you. No, I want you to slow down so you can forget what I said and I can take advantage of the situation. That's why people don't like sales. I think car salesmen is probably one of the main reasons that people don't even like to being sold, because of the slow down. They slow you down to where you just want to leave. Like,
right
here, just get me out of here. And so I love that. I think you probably caught him off guard in a good way.
I was like, listen, I'm a buyer, right? Because
right.
As someone who was in sales, right? You have to represent who you are, right? I mean, I ain't gonna come to you and not want to buy.
Correct. Correct.
And you said, and when you said that the material things, I mean, it just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
Like, I think the older you get, the more you realize that this stuff is stuff, and you find more joy in the relationships you're building and the people that you're impacting, and that your power comes in proximity to those you can help. Your influence and what stays with somebody. And that's kind of where we circle back to nursing. You can have the best looking hotel room is impeccable. If the service is bad, the experience is bad. The hotel is crap, right? So all that pretty stuff out the window. If you can't hire, if you can't build relationships with the staff in a way that they can translate that stuff to your guests, if they're miserable, guess what? Your guest's gonna be miserable, and your business will suffer. So it shows itself up over and over and over again, like the value and the power and success in relationships, and then just finding the joy in service.
I love it. I love it. Now, where can the people find you?
You can find me. You can find me on Facebook under Aneesha Smith. You can find me on LinkedIn under Aneesha Smith. I'm in a purple suit for now. That's probably the best place to find me. I am going to be dropping my links for the Connected Practice for those of you who are looking to get into the system side of things, into the technical side of growing your business and strategy. That is what we're here for. And I'll be dropping links for that on my LinkedIn and whatnot. But those probably are the two best places you can find me, because everywhere else is a little dibble dabble. So I'm not even going to. I'll say, I'm not even gonna drop a whole bunch of stuff. It's those. LinkedIn is easy. Aneesha Smith, easy. Facebook, easy. I'm in red.
I love it. I love it. Y'all go follow Aneesha. Aneesha is absolutely phenomenal. From the day we met, it has been absolutely just the best relationship. So go follow her. She is incredibly talented, incredibly intelligent. And so just go and work it out. All right. Now, you ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to like, share, and comment, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.